Okay, so John, we were talking about adults and how to widen the maxilla forward. How to widen the maxilla. And my question is, um, how do you bring the maxilla forward in an adult? And will the mandible follow?
Well, I think the first thing to remember, to bear in mind, our experience shows us that adults essentially are physiologically no different in this respect from children. It's just with children, things are happening faster, there's a higher metabolic rate, and the response is a lot quicker. It just takes longer and possibly a lot more funds and time with
Mm-hmm.
adults. But it's all doable, and that's shown in the literature. The literature is abounds with cases. So, and how you do it is with light forces. As a matter of interest, I learned not so long ago that one of the biggest influences in in determining tooth position is the medial pressure, the inwards pressure of the cheeks. How about that?
Hmm.
Now, we know from our work with craniosacral techniques that if you apply heavy forces, in other words, if you try and push the tissue, it automatically resists. You're also building up all sorts of tension and resistance within the nervous system, which is therapeutically unhelpful. So light forces, and this has been shown by numerous really good orthodontists and dentists, are far more successful in terms of speed and accuracy in correcting bite malformations. So light forces, which can be applied with appliances on a continuous basis and applied through the therapist's hands. There is one slight exception to that, which is that sometimes you get an impacted palate, such as where someone has had what we call a handlebar injury, like a little kid hitting a brick or a curb with the front wheel of the bike and ending up hitting their upper jaw, upper lip on the handlebars. It's quite a common injury.
Mm-hmm.
That will cause the palate bones to be very tight back onto the sphenoid, which is their posterior neighbor. And sometimes you need very strong forces indeed to disengage that manually. But it's the one articulation, that at the back of the palate, which seems to be able to tolerate very heavy traction forces
Hmm.
and respond to them. But once it's mobile, it takes much lighter forces to repeatedly maintain that mobility and to keep them growing forward.
Interesting. Okay, so I have a question for you. Um, a ton of there aren't a lot of people, but a lot of the stories that have come in are of people who had a retracted maxilla with a cervical headgear or some other form of retraction, and now they're using CPAP machines. You know, they've had sleep apnea, started when they were kids, they never knew it, and they finally in their 30s they've got so fatigued that they went to a doctor and the doctor said you got sleep apnea. Now, some of the sleep apnea masks wrap around the back of the neck and the back of the head, and there's a nasal bath, a nasal pillow, and there's tension. Sorry, there's compression. There's this way
They're
because to,
compressing front to back.
yeah, they're pressing front to back because you've got to keep the mask, the nasal mask somewhat tight. Have you seen one before?
No, I'm
Okay,
afraid I
I'm gonna get
haven't.
one. I'm gonna get
I've
one.
had sleep apnea myself, but I've worked on it in more natural ways, But that's
Okay,
another
let me
story.
get you the
Not for
mask.
now.
Let me get you the mask. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the mask. You know, I wear this on my head.
And you're supposed to sleep with that on?
Yeah, I sleep with this like this, and it's it straps like this on both sides. It's called a nasal pillow, and I have a hose here. So there's my whole
Where do
mid
you feel?
face is
Describe the most pull, the most tension you feel from that. What's the direction?
this way.
Yeah, well, that's not helping.
Okay,
That's all I'll say. I doubt if it's increasing the damage, but it certainly isn't helping.
okay,
But by the look of it, because I've never seen one before,
yeah,
that's not what you want.
okay, okay.
Happy days, Omar.
Yeah. So actually, I stopped using that that type of
Oh,
mask, and now I have a nasal prong mask, which doesn't pull back but kind of pulls up on my nose.
there are some very simple mouth appliances you can get which are supposed to help out. They certainly help prevent snoring, which
Okay.
is all part of the picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Um,
you'll have all the info on those, I'm sure. Some you make yourself, some are specially made at enormous cost, and
yeah.
all of that. But I'm sure you've looked at all that stuff.
I've tried them. I've tried
Yeah,
them. In my case, my maxilla's quite far back.
yeah,
My ENT kind of manipulated my mandible, and he said, "Whoa,
yeah.
you know."
Yeah, I get the impression, if I may say so, that you've really focused on this particular uh, rather horrible technique, frankly,
Right.
uh, and its consequences. Um, you perhaps haven't been aware that this is the whole business of iatrogenic dental harm, doctor calls dental harm, is enormous, and it has a long history, certainly 30, 40 years of scientific investigation. In fact, longer than that, according to a dental colleague of mine in Poland, whom I was working with a couple of months ago. And uh, there's a lot more going on. There are a lot more different types of adverse consequence from wrong dental work, or from even a clumsy and over aggressive extraction can leave a person with permanent damage without any intention to alter the position of the teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So over opening of the mandible can cause permanent damage to the TM joints. Over opening to get at the third molars to pull them out or do whatever. So that all sorts of scope for damage from the dentist, unfortunately. A lot of it can be permanent. So that's my background as far as the dental elements of my work is concerned. It's a lot broader than yours, so I don't have the depth of knowledge of the technique and its consequences that you're talking about of this maxillary retraction. But I also get the impression that therefore you may not yet be aware of some of the resources that are out there, and they are plentiful now and well informed. And I hope you feel encouraged by that. I know it's not the point of your campaign.
Well, what kind of resources could you point people towards?
Oh, a dentist that I know. When they come to me with an issue, and I find from my work that it's highly likely that there's a primary dental cause or a significant contributory dental cause, I refer them to actually one particular dentist in Scotland and one particular one down south whom I know and have worked with for a long time. Who are world class, absolutely. In fact, the guy down in the south of England, his maxillary facial work is absolutely phenomenal.
Hmm.
I have a client now who's just been through 3 years' work with him, who's been absolutely transformed. It's been very expensive. It's not available on our National Health Service because they don't recognise the issue. But
Could our viewers contact
the
you?
transformation has been remarkable.
Could our viewers contact you if they need a recommendation?
Yeah, I would think the best people for them to contact is the Florida-based institute on whose faculty I am, and I still teach for, although I'm largely retired, who are the Upledger Institute. And they're down in Palm Beach in Florida. And their web address is www.upledger.com, and they have a Find a Therapist page on their very efficient and comprehensive website. There are dental practitioners among their alumni. They're few and far between. But the other resource is Cranio UK outfit. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Noel Stimpson. Do you have Noel's contact details?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I would approach him also. I'm sure they know of networks in North America that I'm not aware of. But first and foremost, people need to get together with a hands-on and dental team of the right kind.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know Western Canada. I have taught over on the east, Halifax. You can't get much further east than that. Some years ago, Nova Scotia. But I know nothing really of what goes on. Oh, I have one colleague I have a lot of respect for in Toronto. That's the place with the ice rink. That's it. She may have contacts there. But you're best off, because I'm a little out of date now, not having taught in the States or Canada for some years. Upledger.com.
Okay.
Terrific. They have literally hundreds of thousands of alumni worldwide.
Wow. Okay.
A small but important minority of those will be dental.
Got it. So the bottom line for our viewers is, there's a way better way to treat malocclusion
Absolutely.
than extractions and retraction and pulling bones back into the airway.
Yeah.
Um,
Incidentally, people who have that done will likely experience chronic infections in the eustachian tubes, sinuses, heaven knows where, apart
yeah,
from any other general health issues, especially kids. Because
yeah,
those eustachian tubes can't develop if there's posterior pressure from the maxilla,
right,
from the palate.
yeah.
Hope that helps.
That helps. That helps. So, bottom line, there's a better way to do it. Go to the Upledger Institute, find a practitioner, um, and don't let anybody stunt the growth of your upper jaw. Um, don't let anybody pull healthy teeth
Without a very, very good rationale.
without a very, very good
Yeah,
reason. Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. But generally speaking, it ain't right in
Yeah.
principle, pulling
Okay.
healthy teeth.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very
It's
much,
been a
John.
pleasure. And anytime I can help, give us a shout.
Thank you very much. I'm going
Been
to
a
pause the recording and then we can chat a bit after.
That'll be delightful.
Okay,
Okay.
so here we go. Thank you.